Hey guys, it's Rob from What You Don't Know, and today's compilation will be for week 32 from August 8 to 14, and we'll cover everything from the Battle of Halen to the Mesoamerican long count calendar. I hope you enjoy the clips. On August 8, 1648, Mehmed IV ascended to the Ottoman throne after his father Ibrahim was imprisoned, then killed via regicide after his own mother, Kosem Sultan, authorized his removal from the throne. Kosem Sultan then ruled as Valid Sultan until 1651, though she was actually the grandmother of Mehmed IV. Kosem Sultan, Mehmed's grandmother and regent, was suspected of supporting the rebels and plotting to poison the Sultan and replace him with his younger half-brother Suleiman. As a result, Mehmed agreed to sign his grandmother's death warrant in September 1651, subsequently making his mother Turhan Sultan Valid Sultan. She and her mother-in-law Kosim Sultan are the only two women in Ottoman history to be regarded as official regents and had supreme control over the Ottoman Empire. Under Mehmed IV's reign, the empire reached the height of its territorial expansion in Europe. Mehmed IV was known by his contemporaries as a particularly pious ruler and was referred to as Ghazi or Holy Warrior for his role in the many conquests carried out during his long reign. On August 9, 378, the Battle of Adrianople, sometimes known as the Battle of Hadrianopolis, was fought between an Eastern Roman army led by the Eastern Roman Emperor Valens and Gothic rebels led by Fritigern. The battle took place in the vicinity of Adrianople in the Roman province of Thracia, modern-day Edirne in European Turkey. It ended with an overwhelming victory for the Goths and the death of Emperor Valens. Part of the Gothic War from 376 to 382, the battle is often considered the start of the process which led to the fall of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century. On August 9th, the Roman army arrived at the Gothic camp around noon after marching for 8 miles over difficult terrain. The camp was placed strategically on a hill. Exhausted from the march and surprised by the returning Gothic cavalry, the Romans were surrounded and routed, and the killing continued until nightfall. Emperor Valens is thought to have been killed in the battle. On August 10, 1904, the Russian Empire fought the Empire of Japan in the Battle of the Yellow Sea. It was a major naval battle of the Russo-Japanese War, and the sides were commanded by William Wittgeft and Togo Hayachiro. William's goal was to make a sortie from Port Arthur to Vladivostok. Flying his flag in the French-built pre-dreadnought Svarovich, Wittgeft proceeded to lead his 6 battleships, 4 cruisers, and 14 torpedo boat destroyers into the Yellow Sea. Waiting for him was Admiral Togo and his fleet of 4 battleships, 10 cruisers, and 18 torpedo boat destroyers. At approximately 12:15, the battleship fleets obtained visual contact with each other, and at 1300, with Togo's crossing Wittgeft's T, they commenced main battery fire at a range of about 8 miles. At 1830, a hit from one of Togo's battleships struck Wittgeft's flagship's bridge, killing him instantly. Togo tried to sink the ship, but decided to turn about and head back to Port Arthur, thus ending naval history's longest-range gunnery duel up to that time, and the first modern clash of steel battleship fleets on the high seas. On August 11, 3114 BCE, the Mesoamerican long count calendar began. This calendar was most commonly associated with the Mayan civilization. Using a modified vigesimal tally, the long count calendar identifies the day by counting the number of days passed since a mythical creation date. In this case, that corresponds to the 11th of August, 3114 BCE in the proleptic Gregorian calendar. The earliest contemporaneous long count inscription yet discovered is Stela II at Chiapas de Corzo, Chiapas, Mexico, showing a date of 36 BCE, although Stela II from Talik Abaj, Guatemala might be earlier. Of the 6 sites, 3 are on the western edge of the Maya homeland, and 3 are several hundred kilometers further west, leading researchers to believe that the long count calendar predates the Maya. The date of current creation follows 13 Bactons, or 5,122 years. Many people believe that the world would end on December 21, 2012, as this date is 13 Bactons from August 11, 3114 BCE. On August 12, 1914, the Battle of Halen, also known as the Battle of the Silver Helmets due to the many cavalry helmets left behind on the battlefield by the German cuirassiers, took place. The battle was at the beginning of the First World War between German forces led by Georg von der Merwitz and Belgian troops led by Leon de Witt. Halen was a small market town, a convenient river crossing of the Gette, and was situated on the principal axis of advance of the Imperial German Army. The battle was a Belgian tactical victory, but did little to delay the German invasion of Belgium. Something of note was on the night of the 11th or 12th of August, de Witt and his staff decided that on the following day, lancers and scouts would fight dismounted with their carbines. This deviation from old battle traditions was the inspiration of 2 young officers, Commander Tassner and Lieutenant von Ostraten, and may very well have made the difference in the outcome. On August 13, 1521, the Aztec forces defending Tenochtitlan were destroyed and the Aztecs were forced to surrender. The surrender included the return of the gold lost during La Noche Triste. Under torture, by burning their feet with oil, Cathumoc and the Lord of Tacuba confessed to dumping his gold and jewels into the lake. Yet little gold remained, as earlier a fifth had been sent to Spain and another had been kept by Cortez. 100 to 240,000 people were killed in the campaign overall, including warriors and civilians. As many as 40,000 Aztec bodies are floating in the canals or awaiting burial after the siege, leading some sources to liken the siege to a genocide. This date is marked as the fall of the Aztec Empire and the start of what would become known as New Spain. On August 14, 1040, King Duncan I of Scotland was slain in battle by the troops of Macbeth. Many of you may have read Shakespeare's Macbeth, but did not know the characters were based on real people in Scottish history. In 1040, Duncan led an army north into Moray, Scotland, Macbeth's domain, apparently on a punitive expedition against Moray. There, he was killed in action at Bothnagowan, now Pitcairn, near Elgin, by the men of Moray led by Macbeth. On Duncan's death, Macbeth became king. Had his reign not been universally accepted, resistance would have been expected, but none is known to have occurred. His 17-year reign was mostly peaceful, although in 1054 he was faced with an English invasion. This means Shakespeare's Macbeth is based on Holinshed's Chronicles, published in 1577, and is not historically accurate. Thank you for watching What You Don't Know, and please make sure to like and subscribe for more.